Thank y'all very much. Honored to be here. I see our guest of honor, Senator Scott's arrived. Let's give him a big round of applause. I tell you, it's a great day in South Carolina, isn't it? Yeah. It's a great day in Aiken County, is it not? Yes, it is. I tell you, it's so good to be here and to see all these folks in this room from not only around Aiken County but around our region. Folks here who know what it means to create jobs, to have private sector investment, and that's what we're here about today, is to talk about how the private sector can lift up the communities in which we live. And it's one of those is because of the Opportunity Zone that's been championed by Senator Scott. But just briefly, let me mention to you a couple of some key, I'm a numbers guy, and let me mention to you some key numbers. We've got 3.2% unemployment in South Carolina. That is a historically low number. Let's give it a round of applause. We've got 70,000 people that are jobs that are looking for people in South Carolina, in spite of the 3.2% unemployment. And let's give a round of applause because of that. In 2018, our Department of Commerce announced 8,000 new economic 8,000 jobs related to over 100 economic investments in the state, and isn't that great news for our state? Round of applause. We had $3.3 billion in capital investment that were announced in South Carolina in 2018. That was a record for our state. We've had record growth through the Port of Charleston, and many of our employers in Aiken County directly benefit from activity through the Port of Charleston, and that is great for not only our employers here in Aiken County, but for those of us that live in this region. Let's round of applause for that. Our state is home to 3 original equipment manufacturers. Those are BMW, Volvo, and Mercedes-Benz. And we have companies here in Aiken County that are direct suppliers to those manufacturers. Round of applause. Here's some more statistics that many of you may not know. In South Carolina, when I was growing up, when I was in high school, Ohio was the largest tire manufacturer in the state. In the country. How many people here from Ohio? Raise your hand if you used to live in Ohio. A few of you. So now, today, in 2019, South Carolina is the largest tire manufacturer in the United States. 100,000 plus tires a day. 37,000 tires a day made in Aiken County. Not one, but 2 Bridgestone plants. Isn't that great news? It is. Then we have, at the Boeing plant in Charleston, they make 12 Dreamliners a month. And that's amazing. 12 Dreamliner planes a month made in South Carolina. And then at the BMW plant in Greer, they make over 400,000 BMWs a year, most of which is exported through the Port of Charleston. That's great news for South Carolina. Round of applause. But in spite of all of these good statistics and numbers that we are sharing here today, there are areas in our state that have not benefited from the economic growth that we've experienced in this state for the past 10 years. And those are the areas that we're here to talk about. And those are the areas that we're here to talk about how we can help those communities, not by investing more government money, but by the private sector investing money into those communities. That's good news for those of us in South Carolina. And because we now have that opportunity, with the Opportunity Zones, we can lift up these communities. We can see tax benefits for those of us that are willing to take the risk and invest in these communities through the Opportunity Zone. There's not only federal tax incentives that are available, or tax benefits that are available for the Opportunity Zones, but we now have state tax benefits because South Carolina has conformed to the federal law that was passed with the federal Opportunity Zone legislation. Round of applause for that. So with no further ado, I want to thank my good friend and colleague, when I was in the South Carolina House of Representatives, United States Senator Tim Scott. Thank you for being here. Welcome you to Aiken County. We look forward to hearing from you on the Opportunity Zones. Thank you so much.